It is now time to reserve all judgment. Not me, but Erin. Because have you seen this movie? You said you saw it a while ago, right?
Yeah, I saw it, but it doesn't really mean much.
You don't really remember it?
Not really.
All right. Well, since you will be watching this with fresh, adult, newly birthday eyes.
Yes.
Because it was your birthday a couple days ago.
It was.
You can now judge this movie as objectively as you can. And I, too, will try and be objective, because it's been a long while since I've seen it. I may enjoy it, or I may not. I may hate it less than I do.
There you go.
Or I may just not enjoy it once again. I may enjoy it. I may not enjoy it at all.
Words are hard.
I may not enjoy it at all. But I do know from the last time I saw this movie, I don't think the movie's that good overall, but I do think it has some really, really good moments. And that's all I'm going to say. Do you have any expectations?
I think I remember...
I suggest you keep them low, but go ahead.
I remember being really confused when I watched it the first time.
Okay, well, I think it's kind of straightforward. So maybe now I don't think you will be from the last time you saw it, which this movie was released in 1999, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
sounds about right.
Yep, or 98. Yeah, I think it was 99. So, all right, here we go. So we're this is obviously the intro. I can't believe I'm explaining the intro. But the next time you hear us, the movie's going to be over. So you're just going to hear the credits, and we're going to go right into the review. And at the end of this podcast, as a bonus, you're going to hear our commentary about the movie. Now, that doesn't mean the whole movie's going to run. It's just going to be the times that we have commented on the movie, or genuine outbursts of whatever kinds of information or thoughts pop in our heads. So, without further ado, we will speak to you after the movie. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, hello, then see you soon. Right. So there you have it. So what did you think? You have watched the infamous episode 1.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, same for me. There were, of course, some very cringeworthy moments, especially with Jar Jar Binks, but I think my biggest problem with it was just the pacing of it. There was a lot. I found it slow at some parts. There was a lot of the movie that could have been cut out. Like the pod racing scene could have been way shorter.
Yeah.
The scenes on Tatooine could have been way shorter. It slowed the movie down to try to get to where we wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Anything with the Gungans could have been Jar Jar especially could have been completely cut out.
I wish.
Anything with the Gungans and the battle droid, that scene could have been cut out. Topher Grace from That 70s Show actually was learning editing. And he made what's called a Phantom Edit. I think he called it the Phantom Edit, where he, I think he either cut down episode 1 or did the whole prequel trilogy.
Really?
Or no, there's something called the Phantom Edit where it cuts out all of Jar Jar, and if you can try and watch it.
I vaguely remember hearing about that now.
Yeah.
You say it.
Yep. So, but it wasn't completely awful. You know, I've seen worse movies. You know, there were some great moments. It's like the even though it kind of looks dated now, just the lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul, I thought technically was really good, but there wasn't too much motivation. I mean, I understood the motivation behind the characters, but it wasn't fleshed out enough to where the technique was great in the lightsaber fight, but there wasn't as much emotion as, say, like Luke against Vader in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, or even the lightsaber fights in the new trilogy. There was emotion behind them as well as technique.
There's also a lot more dialogue. I feel like if what was the Sith guy's name?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, that's right. I found that I was surprised that he didn't say anything to Obi-Wan, like, oh, you're gonna let the darkness take you over now that you're upset about your friend and whatever, you know? Like, that would have happened in the newer ones, but not in this one.
Yeah, well, I think Lucas made the choice, and I understand it. They wanted Maul to be like the silent, menacing type.
Stoic, yeah.
But there, in the novelization, I believe, and even in the original screenplay, but it was cut out, Maul had a line where, you know, Obi-Wan was anxious to get to Maul after Qui-Gon died, and then Maul kind of taunted him and said something about like, "Oh, you're going to be next," or so. There was a little more dialogue in that, but and giving Maul more dialogue would have fleshed out his character maybe a little more and given him a little more personality. But I didn't mind he was mysterious, which I wish he wouldn't have died in Episode 1. Well, I mean, okay. This is a spoiler alert for Star Wars Rebels, so if you don't know anything about Star Wars Rebels, do not listen for like the next couple of minutes. But Maul actually didn't die in Episode 1. We were led to believe that he died, and it wasn't until, 15 years later in Star Wars Rebels that he actually survived the fall, and he ended up having these mechanical legs, and so mentally he was a little crazy. And there was a whole storyline with Maul, and he had a brother, and he wanted revenge against Darth Sidious, his old master, and he went up against him. And
that was the guy in the hood, right?
Yeah, Darth Sidious was the guy in the hood, the master of Darth Maul.
And isn't that the same guy that was in charge of Vader later?
I'm not saying anything.
Because he looks like it's him, and that's why I thought it was him.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
But, so, make a really long story short, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, and this is all in the canon, so this is all acceptable, because they had a comic book about... They also had in the comics that Darth Maul survived, but it's no longer canon, it's what's called legend. But Darth Maul survived, ended up going to Tatooine, because he found Obi-Wan to exact his revenge on Obi-Wan, and Uncle Owen ended up killing Darth Maul with a rifle. Like, Obi-Wan and Maul were about to fight, or they were fighting, and Uncle Owen killed him and then told Obi-Wan, I never want to see you again. You stay, because Luke was a little boy at this time. He said, I want you nowhere near my nephew because all you bring is trouble. And that's when Obi-Wan started to keep his distance away from Luke. So it was a really good story in the comic book. And in Star Wars Rebels, they did a really good job bringing Maul back because they gave him more personality. But again, he was really, really messed up due to everything he went through. But they showed it was Maul found Obi-Wan again. Or not again, he found him. And they had one last fight. So right before they fight, you're expecting this, just like it was in Episode 1, this epic battle that's going to go just show them flying all over the place. But all it was... It maybe lasted 3 seconds, and it was kind of like a samurai duel, and it was incredible. Like the way they did it was incredible.
Video or
no? It was the cartoon. It was the cartoon.
Oh,
Rebels.
right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I read the Darth Maul books, which fleshed out Maul even more, and it made him scary, and it showed how scary Darth Sidious was. So I know there were some fan theories where in Episode 2 there's another Sith Lord. But people are saying that there was no need for that other Sith Lord. They wish Maul just would have survived in that to bring the character out more. There was already a history with Maul and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It would have been better. But that being said, I thought Maul was really good. The look of the movie, I think, aged a little bit, where it's too digital, and I think Lucas relied more on digital than organic, whereas in the original trilogy, relied more on organic than special effects, which I think the original trilogy holds out more. So what do you think stood out for you in Episode 1? What did you like about it?
I mean, I liked the backstory somewhat, with Padme and Anakin, and that was very sweet and whatever. For some reason, I had it in my head that Anakin's mother died tragically when he was leaving. I don't know why.
Oh.
I just made that up in my head, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I had a dream about it or something.
All right, we're at dead air.
I'm thinking, I think that the idea of a virgin birth was a little ridiculous.
Yes.
But I can understand, making him seem like the chosen one.
Yeah, I know, but
so
like
much.
it just it's a little heavy-handed with that. What did you think about the midichlorians, the science?
As a science person, I liked the scienciness of it instead of it just being this mystical, magical force in the world. Blah,
right.
Blah, blah. Like I liked there being like a molecular tangibility to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have rather the force be a little more mysterious, but it wasn't.
I mean, it still is mysterious, you know. How do little molecules somehow make you able to do things?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think it's that big a deal. I know people were really mad when Lucas did that, but I didn't
get over it.
I didn't find a big deal with that. What you think of Jar Jar?
I fucking wish he would die. I hate him so much. He took me out of the movie so many times because every time he would do something stupid that people thought would be funny, I was totally just taken out of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like child's humor that Lucas wanted to put in, and Lucas's excuse was, well, this is a kids movie. They've always been kids movies, which part of me understands, but you can make a kids movie that doesn't make the adults want to strangle something,
Did your nephew like Jar Jar?
I don't remember him liking Jar Jar that much, and I'm trying to think. Because he saw the original trilogy first, and then he saw the prequel trilogy, and then he's also a fan of the internet, and he goes on the internet, and maybe he's influenced a little bit,
a lot,
what the internet thinks, but I don't know. He's not that big a fan of Jar Jar now. He's 10, but I remember my dad's friends' kids loving Jar Jar, and this kid who I'm thinking of was maybe 5 or 6 when this came out, and he loved Jar Jar.
That's about appropriate.
Him. But yeah, it is about appropriate.
You're older than that, and you don't like him anymore.
Yeah, when my nephew was introduced to Star Wars, I think he was like 5, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he hated Jar Jar, but the older he got, I think the less he liked Jar Jar. But my nephew loves the Porgs, but again, the Porgs weren't insulting.
They're adorable.
Exactly.
How can you not like the Porgs?
Yeah. Yeah, you are a terrible person if you don't like the Porgs.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of so you didn't like Jar Jar. Jar Jar got a lot of criticism when this movie came out because the critics of Jar Jar found him racist. They found him as a stereotypical Caribbean black person, or a stereotypical, like the Stepin Fetchit. What Stepin Fetchit was? He's a character played by a black man in, I think, maybe the 20s or 30s, and he came off as like
the
someone
typical portrayal of a black man,
or just that kind of thing. Yeah. I remember Bill Maher, when he had Politically Incorrect, when this movie came out, he spoke about this, and he says, Jar Jar Binks, he's like Stepin Fetchit. So they kind of made him like this goofy, and people equated him as a black man just from like the kind of voice that he put on, and just made him the goofy, bumbling kind of black guy.
Even his ear fin things remind me of dreads.
Yeah, that
like
was
another.
Yeah, that was another criticism.
Yeah,
of it. Yeah, and just the way that he spoke and the way that he moved. And the actor who played Jar Jar is a black man, Ahmed Best, and Ahmed Best himself came up with the voice. He wasn't. I don't think he was directed on. I think it was Ahmed Best's idea for this kind of voice. Again,
that's unfortunate.
Best didn't have this final approval, but I believe it was Best who came up with this whole thing. So I don't think Lucas, I don't think he's anti-Asian. I think the Nemodians were, like the mustache twirling kind of bad guy character that maybe Lucas grew up watching. Or, the Jar Jar Binks, I don't think Lucas meant to be a kind of racist. Lucas, in his naivete, probably thought, oh, well, I'm just going to make him a bumbling guy. Maybe not consciously thinking. Or even the Nemodians, the Gungans, and Watto.
Yeah.
There was, people thought, oh, because Watto has a big nose, he's a Jewish stereotype, and all he cares about is money is a Jewish stereotype. And people equated Watto's accent to being, like the Jewish guy, trying to sell you stuff in the, this kind of way. But
part of me thinks that those people had that stereotype in their mind of Jewish people, and then projected it onto him.
Right. I mean, and I think Watto's accent was more like
Italian,
more like an
just
Italian
the cadence
speaking
and
English,
the upflexion.
Like, only a money. I gotta come to the store and only a money. You know, my mom's from Italy, so I grew up, and my mom's side, they're from Italy too. So I grew up listening to this kind of accent, you know. So I always thought of Watto as Italian. But then when I was younger and the movie came out, I started reading. I never equated the Jewish stereotype to him. And for the record, the dad's side of my dad's side is Russian, and we might be Polish too. I don't know, but my dad's side is Jewish. So there's, I guess,
he has experience on both sides.
I have experience on both sides,
and he falls on the guy's Italian.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way too. And I mean also, the Italian mobsters, like, this guy was kind of shady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, it wasn't mobster shady, but it was shady.
Just a degenerate. Not to say that Italians are degenerate.
Absolutely not.
No. And what did you think? Now, there was really only, two prominent women roles in this. There was Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother, and Queen Amidala / Padme. How do you think... And they were the only two.
Well, no, in the opening scene, there was that lady that was flying the thing.
I'm only shushing Erin because my landlords go to sleep, like, really early, so our loud voices don't want to wake them. Prominent female characters. So you had Shmi and you had Padme. What'd you think of them?
Well, you didn't really know much about Shmi.
No.
So, yeah, but Padme was pretty cool. I feel like she was a little bit too passive.
Really? You thought
in the beginning.
But then she started to,
Because as soon as they started doing stuff, she should have, like, put her foot down.
Who started doing stuff?
As soon as the Trade Federation started messing with her planet or whatever it was.
Right. I think she tried the diplomatic route first.
Yeah.
And then when the diplomatic route didn't work, she went, to the chagrin of Senator Palpatine, she went, to fight back physically.
Yeah.
So anything else stand out to you?
Who was that guy that ended up becoming elected?
Senator Palpatine.
That was Senator Palpatine.
Yeah.
He is totally... As soon as he suggested the whole shaking up the Senate, getting that guy thrown out thing, I knew that he's in there as a puppet for whoever the fuck that guy in the hood was. Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
He's totally his puppet, and Darth Sidious is just trying to shake things up and get himself into it so that he can take over.
All right. Well, I know what goes on. You
theory.
still have episodes 2 and 3 to watch and see what happens.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's been a while since I've watched episode 1, and you watch the internet and you read stuff and you go on YouTube and you talk to your friends about certain things and you remember the movie one way, and then all of a sudden it's like you hear people's opinions and it's like, oh, okay, they have a point. But again, it's been a while since I've watched it, and by no means do I think this is a great movie, but by no means do I think it's a horrible, unwatchable movie.
Right.
I was able to watch it. My biggest criticism, at least right now, was the pacing of the movie. It really could have been chopped down and cut a little bit, and the characters, I think, could have been combined. I don't even think Qui-Gon even should have existed in this. I think it should have been Obi-Wan from the start.
I don't know, because Obi-Wan was supposed to be young and fresh and not quite there yet, I think.
I mean, I understand why they had Obi-Wan have a master, but I just didn't think Qui-Gon was necessary. It could have begun with Obi-Wan, maybe finding Anakin, and at least you get to know Obi-Wan a little better from the start. But it's not that big a deal. I mean, I thought Qui-Gon was a good character. I mean, when I first saw the movie, I thought Liam Neeson was a little dry as Qui-Gon, but I guess now that I'm a little older, I can understand how stoic he was. But at the same time, he was such a rule breaker, so maybe he influenced Anakin in the way about, you don't have to listen to everything the council says. So, what'd you think of Yoda in this? I didn't hear you react when you saw him. Did you know that was Yoda?
Yes, I know it was Yoda.
He didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he was just kind of here and there a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed in myself, I was like, I'm not that excited about Yoda right now. I don't know why.
Yeah. Again, he didn't really do much.
Yeah.
And what'd you think of Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu?
He looks so young. Oh my gosh.
Well, this was like almost 20 years ago.
I know, but it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The same thing with Natalie Portman. She looks so young.
I think she was around 14 when the movie came out.
Was she really?
Yeah, this movie took a while to make, I think, so she was
Yeah, I know she's around my age, that's why.
Yeah, yep. I wish Samuel L. Jackson, I'm sure he got direction or he decided to play Mace Windu as more stoic, but I wish he would have put some Samuel L. Jackson personality.
Yeah, he was a little boring.
He was a little dry. And what'd you think of Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin?
He was adorable. It's so
you
sad.
like Jake Lloyd? Yeah.
It's so sad that he's going to be a bad guy.
Who Anakin was. Oh, that's good. That at least you have sympathy for the Anakin character. Most of the people hated Anakin or they hated Jake Lloyd's performance. I didn't think Lloyd's performance, just his delivery of the lines was kind of wooden. Not as good as say like a Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. The performance. A character like Anakin's really hard to play, especially at the beginning for a kid, because there's a lot of nuance in Anakin. You want to feel for Anakin, but at the same time, there's something hanging over him. But then again, Lucas maybe wanted him to be innocent from the start. I don't know, Jake Lloyd's line delivery seemed a little school play like
a little bit,
as opposed, and listen, it's hard to be a kid, and it's hard to be an actor as a kid. I mean, there's few child actors who can pull it off. Like Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense was great. What's her face? Kirsten Dunst in Interview with the Vampire was incredible. Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver when she was a kid. These are off the top of my head, but it's hard. It's hard to do that. And Jake Lloyd, as an adult. And, I mean, even as a kid, he was, like, taunted by other kids saying that he ruined Star Wars. He was treated really badly. Not to mention just being in the Hollywood system to begin with.
Yeah.
And then Jake got into trouble as an adult. He got arrested because he led cops on a high-speed chase, and he resisted arrest. And then I believe his mother claimed that he's was diagnosed as a schizophrenic, so he spent time in mental institutions. I don't know what he's up to now. I don't know if he's still in one, because this was in 2015. But after Star Wars, that was the last movie. I think he might have done one more thing, but after that, it was I think maybe he did a little bit of the convention circuit to make some money, but after that, he just, he stopped acting and was very disillusioned by the business, a business that can really tear someone up, especially if one is predisposed to schizophrenia, and then just all the crap that comes with being a child actor. It just, he just turned into something not good. But I don't know where he is now.
Isn't that funny how he turned into something not good?
Yeah.
Not funny, though. Poor guy.
Yeah. It's just, he did bring that innocence to Anakin, but I just didn't think his delivery was that good. And people criticize him like, "Oh, I can't believe he said yippee," but it's like that was Lucas who wrote those lines.
He's a kid. He's supposed to say stuff like that.
He was like, he must have been 6 or 7 when he did this. So you weren't that critical. You actually liked Jake Lloyd's performance.
I just thought he was so damn cute that
yeah.
I couldn't really critique him very well.
Yep. All right. Well, speaking of cute, I will now go into the story behind Episode 1 and me, and I'll make this quick. But when I saw this movie, I was in college. I think it was my junior or senior year of college, and I was, still a big Star Wars fan. You're not going to listen. You're just walking away. You're not going to listen.
I'm literally going to pee on your futon.
All right. I will wait till you get back.
Just, I can hear you talk.
No, because I want you to react to it. God damn it. All right. She'll be back. And I'll be back. I'm stopping this right now. She is back from the longest pee ever. It was so long it turned into a QRSTUV.
Anyway, tell your story.
Where was I? Okay, so I was in like a junior or senior year of college when I saw this movie. And I was, big Star Wars fan. Saw the original trilogy a bunch of times, but after like the early 90s, I kind of stopped watching Star Wars because I saw it so many times, and I went on to other things. I still always liked it, but it didn't really, when my cousins were little at that age, they started watching Star Wars, so I watched it with them, and and I liked it and everything. But so at the end of Episode 1, remember when I said that I kind of looked like Anakin as a little kid?
Yeah.
For some reason, this triggered something in my brain to where I thought, wait, I look like Anakin. I can try out to be in episode 2 in the next movie. I want to be an actor.
Nice.
That's how meanwhile, like, I'm 5'6", and Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is well over 6 feet, so there was no, possible way I could have played Anakin. But what this movie did, it triggered, I acted as a kid, in school plays, and I made my own movies, and then I kind of stopped because I, said, oh, well, I have to be realistic. I have to find a real job. I have to, get a job somewhere. But what this movie did, it triggered something in me to where it's like, well, I want to be an actor. And after seeing episode 1, I really got back into Star Wars. I started reading all what's now considered the Legends books. I started reading all the behind-the-scenes stuff. I started going on, the early days of the internet, and, well, not the early days. It was kind of the early days, 97, and reading everything I could about Star Wars, reading all the books and all the character developments about it, and just kept going and going and going. And then when episode 2 and 3 came out, blah, 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 blah. But it was... And I started acting professionally after I graduated college, I went on the audition circuit. I had to bartend to make extra money, to supplement my income. And acting is really who I am. It's a part of me. And I find it pretty cool that if it wasn't Star Wars triggering me, it was going to be something. Something was bound, this desire was bound to come out. But the fact that, this movie helped mold my childhood, and then years later helped mold my adulthood, and then years later just sticks with me through, my family and through my nephew and through everything else. It's been the one constant in my life. So Star Wars really means this much to me, even episode 1. Just the influence it has on me is quite profound.
Wow, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's my episode 1 story.
There you go.
Yep. So, do you have anything else to say about episode 1?
Not really.
Does it make you look forward to watching episode 2?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, there you go. We will leave this on a maybe.
Because I kind of already know what's going to happen.
Well, we all know what's going to happen.
No, I don't remember from watching the movies. I can just figure it out that, my theory about the senator and all that other stuff.
Okay, then we will revisit Erin's theory. So, and I will hope you will revisit this podcast.
Please.
And you can find me, Mike Lane, on Twitter at Mike Lane Act. That's MikeLaneAct on Twitter. Mike Lane Actor on Facebook. And please share and comment away. Where can people find you? Where can people find you, Erin?
You can find me on Twitter as well, at ERUNUEV, as in Victor. Oh.
Erin Nuevo. On Twitter. All right, great. So, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, gal.
Who?
I tried to say y'all, but it didn't really work.
Did you say thanks, gal?
I couldn't say if I want to say y'all or you guys, so it just kind of became one word.
I thought maybe you were going to say thanks to Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman. But she has nothing to do with this. So
stop thinking about your dream girl.
I will thank her anyway. So thanks, Gal, and thank you all for listening. Until next time, everyone, may the Force
be with you.
Be with you. Oh, what'd you think of Anakin building... All right, Erin wants to go. I was going to ask her what she thinks of Anakin building 3PO, but I think she said that during the commentary. So I'm going to go. All right, bye, everyone. Well, regardless of how you feel about the movie, this will always be great. The John Williams fanfare. I'm curious what you feel about this scrawl, if you find it intriguing. Just you have to realize the excitement seeing this movie in the movie theaters. It's like, oh my god, a new Star Wars movie.
I was dating someone who was a huge Star Wars fan, so he was so excited about this movie. All
right, what do you think of the first paragraph? Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute.
Gee, what does that remind you of?
Yes, I know, but how does that make you feel as a moviegoer? Trade routes.
Well, it's pretty appropriate for right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jedi will be dispatched.
So who's the Supreme Chancellor? Is that?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything.
No, is that the government that's in charge, or are these?
The Supreme Chancellor is the head of the Galactic Republic.
Okay, so
he's
this
like
point,
the president.
Jedi are accepted by the government.
Yeah, oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, the Jedi are guardians of peace and justice.
Okay.
Or supposed to be. So yeah, this takes place. I forgot the timeline. 30 years before A New Hope.
With all due respect.
Oh, look, a woman.
Like that villain, the Nemodian, his voice was criticized because people complained he sounded like a stereotypical Asian.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So George Lucas named one of the Nemodians Newt Gunray, and the other one Lot Dodd. So Newt Gunray is after Newt Gingrich and Ronald Reagan, and the other one is after Trent Lott and Christopher Dodd.
Got it.
So he named the bad guys after politicians apparently he didn't like.
That's the guy that ends up taking over, right?
Huh?
I didn't realize the lightsaber could go through that much.
Yeah.
The negotiations weren't short.
There's that Obi-Wan humor.
One of my favorite parts about these movies is all the flora and fauna that they create.
Yep. It's good world building. Well, considering most of it's digital anyway.
It's still nice to see all the creative details that they think of, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
And Jar Jar. Now they're acting to nothing.
That's not easy.
Yeah. Or the body is real, but the face isn't. So I think the actor had, like a blue or a green nothing on him, and
yeah. One of those like bodysuits with like the sensors to tell the animators where the body parts are.
So the guy who played Jar Jar, his name is Ahmed Best, and he was in the show Stomp, and I think that's how he got cast, just from the way that he moved, and I believe the actor himself came up with the voice of Jar Jar Binks, and I don't blame the actor for the voice. It's the people who cast them said, "Hey, that's a good voice you have there." Ahmed Best was probably just saying, "Hey, let me give this a try," but I wish there was someone to say, "Yeah, that may not be the best voice for him." Mm-hmm. But you see how Jar Jar turned and Obi-Wan ducked? Ewan McGregor, meanwhile, ducked to nothing, So there's a disconnect there when it comes to acting against the digital character.
Am I supposed to know what they're saying?
Yeah, he's speaking English.
No, I mean, am I missing something by not hearing them when you're talking?
Oh, they're hiding. They're going to the Gungan City to hide from the Trade Federation.
Got it.
Because Jar Jar knows of a secret place.
Allegedly.
Okie Day. Instead of saying okay, he said Okie Day.
Yes. I hate the way he speaks.
I remember seeing this in the movie theater with my mom. My mom out loud said, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." I mean, it is. I mean, this is, again, 1997, and the way digital technology was. This is one of the first movies to do this kind of thing. It looks a little outdated now, but it's not bad.
No, it's cool. It reminds me of something. I want to say The Little Mermaid, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Haha, even your friends don't like you.
Without, they're perplexed by strangers.
I find a lot of the creatures in here, especially the ocean ones that they just showed, they all seem very similar to, like, prehistoric, pre-mammalian, like, way back in the like Jurassic Park era type animals.
Yeah. Well, they draw their influences from something.
Yeah.
Like, this looks a little too much like a cartoon.
I think it looks like Morocco or something.
Yeah, no, I mean just like the actual sets. This is just like all of this just looks like a cartoon. Whereas the newer movies combine the digital and the non-digital.
How will you explain this invasion?
Do you know where they filmed this?
All over the place.
Yeah.
England, I think. Oh God, I'm thinking where the water that might have been Italy.
Did they cast someone that looks like her, or do they do a double thing? Because I know that that's a double.
Mm-hmm.
Did she play both roles? Okay.
I'm saying nothing.
Was Sith another religion like Jedi?
It's getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Possibly.
We should not have made this bargain.
I mean, I know, but I'm not telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that character at the wings, Watto, he was criticized because people thought it was like a Jewish stereotype. But when I first saw the movie, I thought like he had an Italian accent. Like he was like a stereotypical like Italian trying to speak English.
I think I could see that more, but who knows? It's a funny thing about stereotypes. People bend them the way they, you know.
And his like long nose was criticized. People said, "Oh, he has like a long nose, like Jewish people do." What are you thinking?
Every time Jar Jar does something that I think they thought was funny, it's not funny.
Yeah. I think Lucas was trying to appeal to little kids because he always called it a kids movie, but you can still appeal to little kids and not make the adults angry.
Right.
A few containers of supplies.
It's like the Barney syndrome. Like, why would they even bring him out?
Come on, I'll show you 3PO.
Oh, shit.
There was a comic book that gave a good explanation why in Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett went to raise his gun to Chewbacca, who had C-3PO on his back, because C-3PO was blown apart, and Vader pulled the gun down. So people wondering is why didn't he let Boba Fett kill Chewbacca? So a comic book explained that Darth Vader remembered C-3PO, and that's why he moved the gun down. Now, Lucas didn't intend for that, I'm sure, because he probably didn't know he was going to make Vader or Anakin build C-3PO, but the way the comic did it was, he did a really good job doing that.
Cool.
Talk about not being subtle. Virgin birth.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Then Anakin turns out to be a very bad man. I guess the fact that Jar Jar dropped a tool inside of it doesn't really matter.
I guess not.
I do notice his inflection sound a bit Italian now.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Oh, why didn't you notice that the thing was broken?
Jabba the Hutt. Sand people.
Are you serious? How is that legal?
I don't think they care about the rules too much.
I know.
I think the voice of the announcer is Greg Proops.
Okay.
He's a stand-up comedian.
I think
the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway, I think.
Yeah.
Sand people.
I guess since that guy always wins, he has enough money to pay off all these sand people to shoot at everyone.
Either that or just sand people do it for fun.
Yeah, but they don't shoot at the one guy.
Yeah.
Who also happens to be the only one carrying fucking bombs with him. You know?
Yeah. You figure the other racers could have thought about that too.
I just think the only reason why he wins every time is because he's the biggest cheater.
It's quite possible. But there are no rules.
Yeah. But people have morals, I guess. Shit. Come on, Anakin. Gun it. He's so good with this ship, I'm surprised he's never finished the race before. He seems really smart and like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes. He died.
Hooray!
Yay! I really wish that guy had gotten burnt up when he crashed, though. Who saves the money to buy her? She sounds like an old, wise Irish mother.
I think that's a French accent.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. She's Swedish. The actress is Swedish, anyway.
Okay. Your accent isn't much like my uncle's wife, but...
Oh, I mean, that may not be her natural speaking voice.
Exactly. That guy must spend so much time in hair and makeup getting his Sith face on.
Yeah.
And off.
My troops are in position to begin searching the swamps for these rumored underwater villages. They will not stay hidden for long.
Sounds like had like a little nebbishy Brooklyn accent, that robot. They will not stay on the water for long. These underwater villages. Sounds like your dream planet, one big city.
Ugh. FYI, people keep trying to tell me to move into the city, and I'm like, no, I'd rather die, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I've become so adjustable that I might be able to make it work. And by adjustable, I meant to say adaptive.
See, there's an E.T. There's E.T. on the bottom left, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So there was a lot of criticism that George Lucas put some science into the Force instead of making it this mystical energy field. I don't really mind it that much because there's still magic to it, but I can understand the criticism for it. And the later Star Wars movies kind of took the midichlorians out of it and kind of brought it back to it being mystical, just like the original trilogy did.
Okay.
Yep. But Lucas argues that it's really just your blood. It's in you already. It's already determined. How does she have time to change?
I know, right? I guess that's why she has so many handmaidens.
Mm-hmm. It's all digital.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, all of it. And more cartoons. So you have cartoons against cartoons. So it's impenetrable to lasers, but someone can just walk through it.
That's ridiculous. Can't R2 control it, though?
One would assume, unless he doesn't know the ship.
I always feel like they should be able to use the Force to like, push him over the edge.
Yeah, but then the other Jedi can resist that with the Force of their own. Like a caged tiger.
I was just thinking like a lion in a cage. It's a good way to show the drastic differences between the good and the dark side.
Yep.
The way one's like angrily pacing and the other one's like meditating.
Yep.
Nothing can get to our shield.
Except the ship that just flew in.
Yeah, seriously, how did that happen?
Aw, his first kill.
Wow, that powered everything?
Yeah.
The control ship has been destroyed.
Well, that was dumb of them.
Well.
Stop looking at it, you're gonna let him know what you're doing. I feel like that was way too easy.
It was a pretty long fight.
But I mean, like, he didn't react when...
It's too late.
I don't know.
No. He took him by surprise, and Maul was overconfident. Maul was just kind of standing there taunting him. Now, it goes to show, like, this is important, because Obi-Wan...
What are you saying?
Obi-Wan... Qui-Gon was the true believer.
Right.
In Anakin. Obi-Wan wasn't. Obi-Wan just made a promise.
Yeah.
To his literally dying master.
Looks like a giant penis.
Yes.
That must smell really, really bad. Human flesh does not smell good when it burns.
I wouldn't. No.
I would. I cook a lot.
You cook humans?
What will happen to me now?
No, but I burnt myself pretty bad.
It didn't... Like, Obi-Wan didn't have much experience when he started training Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, he just became a Jedi Knight.
Exactly. They should have got somebody else to train him if they're going to do it.
Yeah. I kind of looked like Anakin when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with the brown spiky hair.
Cool.
So cool. Super cool. Thank you for calling me cool, Erin. So, and thank you for listening to this all the way to the end. So, one more time, I'm just going to give some plugs. You can follow Erin on Twitter at ERUNUEVO. That's ERunNuevo. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mike Lane Act. That's MikeLaneAct. Email me at mikelaneact@yahoo.com. Please comment on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, anywhere where you listen to this podcast, and please review, please share. And you can find me on Facebook at Mike Lane Actor. So I think that's it, and once again, may the Force be with you.